Hello and welcome to this week's tarot series, the Chariot. This is Mary coming to you from Riversbend Sanctuary, and we are on this awesome trip of 78 weeks of the tarot, going each week with one card. We are on the Major Arcana card number 7, which is actually the 8th card in the Major Arcana, which is the Chariot. And the Chariot is actually the card of my zodiac sign. This is the Cancer zodiac sign. The Chariot is one of those cards that is number 7, that is very, as people call it, shamanic type number, or a very spiritual number. Number 7 is a very common favorite number, actually mine. I have a ton of 7s in my birth date. The 7 also represents, what we can see, the planets that we can see. It represents kind of the cosmos of everything. So there's so much in this card. It's actually quite fascinating. And it's one of those cards, we were dealt with the Lovers before, and when you're talking about the Lovers card, you're talking about, opposing forces, but you're bringing those opposing forces and making them work beautifully together. Whereas the Chariot, you are dealing with opposing forces, but you're the one in control. You're actually controlling these opposing forces, and you're driving them to your destination, to where you're going. So I got a few fun cards here for you to show you. Now, this one from the Anima Monday deck, this is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's being headfast, being steadfast, being very headstrong, your ambition, you're going after it, right? You are going for what you want, and you're in control. Now, this card kind of shows you both the shadow aspect right off the bat too, where you can be too far. You can go too far and be too aggressive, and too in control for certain things. But the Chariot card, here's another one which is fun. This is the Enchanted Forest Tarot. And this is kind of a neat card because it's about the fairy winds, and it's even called the fairy winds, not the Chariot. But what it's really about, is explaining the same thing, where, some people actually get caught in the fairy winds if you're lucky enough that you're able to get drawn in and see and ride the wave, right? But there's still control there, because if you don't have control, you get lost. So it's still all about being able to control those forces that are working around you. Now, if you look at, again, going back to, just the Rider-Waite interpretation, you've always got the black and the white lion, or sphinxes, it looks like. And you notice there's always a crown too. So when you look at the Chariot, like this card from Rider-Waite, the interpretation is really about the balancing of opposing forces. If you notice, that the charioteer, or whomever who is driving this chariot, that this person has much spiritual influence. Look at the stars and everything that are above on the canopy. Look at the crown, so that means enlightenment, and also of how grounded that this person is. So you've got to use all of those things to balance yourself. So you definitely have to be very grounded, enlightened, and have the ability to control these opposing forces. So you must know what your destination is. Now, when you pull the Chariot, it could mean that you have a battle ahead of you too, but that you have the strength and you have the ambition and your, the steadfastness to get through this. So there may be some turns, jumps, obstacles in the way, but you're going to make it through. Use your willpower, your focus, your self-discipline, determination, ambition. There is success here. Now here is the Badger, and this is a neat card too, because the Badger, honey badger, is one of those just fearless animals that will go after a bear, kind of thing. They are fearless, but they know that they can win because they have no fear, right? and they will stand up and go for what they believe in. So this is kind of cool that she used this for this one. And as far as, let's see, I've got from the Crow Tarot. Now this is the Crow, and you got to look a little bit more at this card to see, what they're showcasing. This crow is flying through, some very cloudy, kind of treacherous skies, but knows exactly where he wants to go and is getting there. Not worrying about the clouds, not worrying about the storm that is brewing, just making sure to get through. Right. And there is, this one is interesting. This is from the Mary L. Tarot. Very interesting deck. So, and it's a really beautiful card. But if you notice, this card also states to apply your knowledge and control over your own life, that you have free will, conscious intent, action, travel, and movement. So this card can mean that that you've got, travel ahead. And a lot of times it does mean, though, that there are obstacles. So you have to, really go deep within yourself to find that strength and to continue on. I'm trying to think. You have to make sure you're going in the right direction. Sometimes when this comes up. Now, if you pull it reversed, some of the obvious things are going to be you maybe being too aggressive, maybe being too forceful. You may not have any direction or control. You may be powerless. So it could be you're being too dang lazy. You need to actually get off your butt and do this. It could mean that, but it could mean you're going way too far over too. So when you pull this card in a love reading, what does that mean? Well, it means that you take control. What do you want? Stand up for yourself. That, go get what you want. Find what you want, or if you haven't found a partner, make sure to be honest about your desires. But, if you're in a relationship, then it's making sure to stand up for yourself. Actually let your intentions be known. As far as a career, it means that, you're doing very well. It means you're ambitious and motivated and in control. So go after that project, or tell, your boss or your coworker, explain what you are wanting to do and have that strength behind, that conviction of your words. And as far as finances, it really is a lot like keep determined, you will reach your goal. So that's a good one for finances, but it doesn't mean it's just going to be a windfall. It means you got to work at this too. And as far as reverse, so if you pull a reverse for love, it can mean that you're being too obsessed, that, with finding love, that you need to back off because it's just not working. Or maybe you're just being too forceful. That can happen with us too. And as for career, that could mean, again, when you get it reversed, it could mean basically you're not doing enough, or it could mean you're doing too much. So, for a career, look at, are you being too lazy again? Are you lacking ambition? Do you need something to help you, to push you to keep going? Or are you being too aggressive, with your goals or with your people? Maybe it's just you're being too much and you need to back off. And financially, when you pull this financially reversed, a lot of times it means you're being either too rushed or too hesitant with your goals and decisions. So you need to stop, and not collaborate and listen, but just stop and actually figure out what you want to do. Oh my gosh, I just completely let you guys know how old I am with that one. But anyhow, so the Chariot is a fun card. And, it's one that we can learn a lot about ourselves from if you really look into why you're pulling it. If you pull it for your day, I do a daily draw, a 3-card. Like a lot of times I'll do, what's the day's energy going to be like? What should I focus on and what should I avoid? So if the day's energy is the Chariot, that means that I'm on top of my game. Everything's going good. I've got all my ducks in a row. I'm controlling everything I have to do. If I pull it for what to focus on, it means I need to focus a little bit more on actually getting my ducks in a row, on balancing everything, and of bringing, opposing forces, of course, of bringing things to work together, that it doesn't matter how different they may be, we're going to make them work, or I am. So that's what I would think of for focus. And for avoid, that could mean, again, either I need to get off my ass and actually do more, or it could mean I'm being too strong. Maybe I'm being too forward. So the Chariot's a fun one. And, interesting enough, even though I'm a Cancer and that is, my card for Zodiac, I do not really relate with this card too much. But a lot of people do. Do you? Well, that is it for this week. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.